Hey everybody, I've got another game here that I coded, and it's one most people are pretty familiar with. It's just basic old tic-tac-toe, and I just wanted to see if I could get this working on my own, just because I like to take simple things and then pick them apart and see if I can figure out how they work. So, it looks super basic because it really is. You've got super basic instructions, a really ugly next turn far away from the game board, but it does function. So we'll start out as player X. We'll say, okay, let's take up here. Player O, I'd say, let's take the middle. X is going to go here. O is going to go here. X has to counter with this. O has to go here. X has to go here. And then O has to go here to block it, and then it's a tie. Now, if we reload that by clicking the Start Over button, we can see what it would look like if someone won. You could say X wins, or if O wins, we could say O is there, and O is there. Look at that, O wins. So I can jump over into the code now and show you guys how I coded it. Alright, so here we are in the code, and this one has not too much code, but it does have a decent amount, so let's get into it. I've got just kind of some of the display stuff here, which is super basic. As I mentioned before, it doesn't look very clean at all. It's very much the default fonts and things. And then here is where we have the actual board itself. I called them cards, like card 1 through 9, and that's just in reading order, so it goes top left to bottom right. And then when you click each little box, it runs a function card clicked with a variable, or not a variable, but an integer 1 through 9, telling the code which card was clicked. So, and then it has the instructions down there and the restart button. So running through the code here, it just has this displaying who is X, has this current player variable and a game over variable. So every time the card is clicked, you get the card ID and if it's activated, and you activate it. So what it does is it's checking all these things that the game's still running and everything, and it's making sure that the card hasn't been clicked before. Now, if player's X, it sets the card to, say, an X instead of blank, and then updates the current player to O, and then it goes here, and it removes that card from the list of available cards to click on. And then if the current player's O, it does the same thing, just with reversed O and X's. So then, every time that happens, it evaluates the game board before the next player is allowed to go. And what that means is it gets all 9 cards and then checks if any possible wins are possible. So you've got the top row, the middle row, the bottom row, the left column, the middle column, the right column, and then the 2 diagonals. So it checks all of those and sees if any of them have won. And if they haven't, it just continues on. And if they have, then it does this end game thing and it sets it to false, which means somebody won. So it goes here and it says, okay, well, which player won? Which player is the one who just won? Like, is it X who just won, or is it O who just won? And then it says, hey, they won. And then it sets the game over to true and says, do you want to play again? But then we have this final check that if no wins have happened, then we're going to set the end game to true, but it's going to be a tie. So if the tie is true, it's going to just say it's a tie, and then say the game is over, and then allow you to play again. So as I said, it's super basic, but it did take a little bit to figure out how I would go about this. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the rest of my channel. See you next time.